right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, families and friends from all over the world, in Jamaica, Texas, all over the world, wherever you are. We are pleased to come back to you today for another Real Talk conversation. And today we're just real excited because today we're going to have the first family of four, on the program. So we're very excited. One of the goals of this program is to talk about family life, and we know that we're going through a period where families are spending a lot more times together. So one of the things that we want to do in the program is just to celebrate families and just to talk about stories, that just to share your stories of, so the world could, see and enjoy what a blessing it is to have a great family. So my name is Ian Weekly, and we got Ian Thomas. He's gonna be the co-host today, and we just, I said, so excited and delighted to have another episode of Real Talk with Ian and Ian. So we're gonna hand it over to Mr. Ian Thomas just to officially to welcome you guys to the program.
Yes, good afternoon, as we say to all our viewers who are watching. You know, we know it's been a few weeks that we've been going on with this program, and from week to week, we have you guys coming on here, watching and sharing the program. But tonight, or this afternoon, I'm just so excited to have the Byles family here with us this afternoon. A family that is full of dynamic in terms of I listen to Ian. We have athletes, we have business personnel. It's a family that have a life experience that we all can learn from. And as we here just sit and talk with the family, we just hope that you guys will learn and be able to take away something positive from this afternoon interview with the Byles family. So I just want to say welcome to the platform, Ian and Ian, to the Byles family. We are happy to have you guys. So welcome to the platform.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Ian and Ian. Appreciate you having us on.
All right, all right, guys. So we're gonna get right into the program, and I'm gonna start out with the man of the day, Mr. Errol Byles. I just want to start out with you because I have the privilege, guys. I just want to say that I have the privilege to race Errol Byles many years ago. We're not going to go too much into the old guys, history of it, but I just want you guys to know a little bit about Errol Byles. Basically, just his background because he has a historical background, like a lot of you guys didn't know of that. He was also trained by Mr. Legendary coach Glenn Mills, who was the coach of Usain Bolt, one of the world greatest athletes. So Errol Byles, we're going to jump right into it. Just tell us a little bit about what high school did you go to, and just tell us about what event did you do, and just give us a little history about your track and field career, in the short version.
All right, Ian. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know if we have enough time, but yeah, I'll condense as much as possible. But yeah, as Ian mentioned, we raced in high school. Ian was at Stet St. Elizabeth Technical, and I was at Camperdown High School. I went to Camperdown High School, passed in the at that time common entrance examination, and walked on to the track team. And I remember the first day we had practice, we ran about a mile from Camperdown to Mountain View Avenue. And I'm still to this day asking myself, why did I return back to track? So I felt so much pain that day. I can't even explain the feeling that I felt when you come back and you ran a mile and a half for the first time as a, and then did squats, did arm curls, did weights for the first time. I don't think I slept that night, but for some reason I returned and continued on that track and field journey. And I think a lot of the guys there is part of the reason why it builds such a camaraderie with the fellows there that you see working out every day just to make themselves better across the board. And so At that time, the coach was Victor Thomas. He did a really good job motivating us, and he introduced me to hurdling at the time because I thought I was a sprinter, but he was a hurdles technician and wanted me to try the hurdles, and it was good. It was fun. My first year at Champs as a Class 3 athlete, I was first in the Class 3 100 meter, almost on the line with Calabar. I can't remember his name right now. As a matter of fact, I think he passed away earlier in the year. Condolences to his family. But it was a fun time, and we went on to Class 2. First year, Class 2, I got introduced. Well, actually, in Class 3, I got introduced to Dane Edwards, who was the champion at the time in the 100, 200, and 400. And he was just a little beast, man. That guy would want you to change your mind from running track. But I continued. We competed Class 3, Class 2, Class 1. And Dane was always my main rival at the time. And of course, then I ran into Ian later on when he started running 400-meter hurdles. And I was like, man, now I had Dane in the 400. Now I have to deal with Ian from St. Elizabeth. Where are all these guys coming from out of the woodwork? So, but it was a lot of fun. As a Class 2 athlete, I made the Carifta team under 17, ran the 400 and the 100-meter hurdles, and got second behind Dane in the 400 hurdles representing Jamaica in the Carifta, and I won the hurdles. And then under 20, I got first in the 110 hurdles, broke the record at the time with 13:88, and then again got second in the 400-meter hurdles behind Mitchell Francis at the time. And so great opportunity to represent in the country for 2 times. And that was a lot of fun. Never made the team as a senior, but went to the 96 Olympic trials while in college and got really sick at the trials. And at that time decided to go into the business world from that point. Worked in the hotel industry after college, went to the University of Texas at Arlington. And then after graduating in 1996, I went on to work in the hotel industry, started working with La Quinta Hotels in 2000, worked with them for 17 years. And it was experience as a regional vice president for La Quinta. And then just to kind of take things quickly, the 17 years, left La Quinta in 2016 and decided that I wanted to spend more time with the family and work with the boys and help them to develop and kind of help them just to be around them a little bit more time and be a little bit more of a foundation and someone that they see on a regular basis. As a regional vice president, I was traveling consistently throughout the year and 3-4 times a week. So it was a little bit of a challenge, just kind of being there for them. So wanted to come and give my wife Michelle a little bit more support and give the boys a little bit more foundation. And it kind of fast forward us now into them running track and just continuing on to that legacy. But I'll take a break for a second, Ian.
No,
Thoughtful there for the introduction.
no, you're doing really good. You actually you're making the interview going so fast because you already went through like 5 of my questions. You know, you know, so that's good. We got more time for the boys. You know, the faster we go through it. So went to Camperdown. You know, you know, raced against for Jamaica in the Carifta games. So at the time, so you said Coach Mills wasn't coaching. It was Coach Thomas, right?
Well, Coach Thomas started me off as a Class 3 athlete, and then when I got to Class 2, Coach Mills took over, and I started working with him as a Class 2 athlete, and worked with him for those first 2 years, and being his sprints. He wanted to find the best coaching opportunity for me, being as I was focusing a little bit more on the hurdles. So my second year Class 2, he said, Coach Fitz Coleman, who is the specialist. He coached Hansel Parchment, who is a medalist for Jamaica. And so I worked with Coach Coleman for about 2 years throughout. And so had a nice experience working with some of the best coaches, national coaches across the board. But Coach Mills and I continue to have a great relationship. We talk fairly regularly, and the boys have had the opportunity to meet and work with them over the last year and a half or so. So it's been a very good foundation and relationship for us.
All right. All right. So, guys, we're getting into Errol Byles, just giving you a little bit of history about his legacy in track and field in Jamaica. He went on to college at the University of Texas, Arlington. We want to ask him a few questions about his college days, just to give us a little bit about how was the difference from coming from Jamaica. We know at the time, a lot of athletes was migrating to the United States, and obviously, you was ahead of me, and I, started my collegiate career in 1993. So, actually was in Texas also. But just tell us a little bit about what was the experience like. We just want to share. I want you to share this with some of the younger athletes. That what was the experience like leaving out of high school and come to a whole new country on a track scholarship. What was that experience like?
Well, that's a great question, Ian. I remember the time when I was being recruited by a number of universities. I chose the University of Texas at Arlington because a former teammate of mine had left in January of the previous year. So just knowing that I have someone that I'm familiar with in an environment I thought would be a good benefit for me, which was a great choice. And so that was the first step in being recruited. The second step is just making sure that you have the academic background to be able to transition from high school to a university. We had a lot of athletes go into junior college, which is good. But at the time, I was fortunate enough where I had 7 CXC subjects, and I had the SAT qualifications to go directly to the University of Texas at Arlington. My first year, man, that was a big shock for me, I got to tell you, because coming from Jamaica, where we're all black people, when I came here, to be quite honest, I couldn't tell who was black from who was white because everyone seemed very light-skinned and around the same. So I kind of struggled identifying the African Americans versus the Caucasians for the first few months. But I kind of settled in, got the heck of it, and the experience here in Texas, a lot of people think that Texas is a tough state, but it was a really good experience. Everyone welcomed us. Everyone treated us very well. And as a matter of fact, my first year at the University of Texas, I pulled a hamstring, wasn't able to compete for a full year. The very first track meet I went to, I pulled my hamstring and was told, you're going to be out for the rest of the year. The worst and the best thing that the coach did for me was to say, hey, you're not going to run for the rest of the year. We're going to redshirt you, and we're going to take care of you. And the worst thing that he did was he said, but you have to go to every track meet there is. You are not exempt from going to the track meet. You got to get on the bus. You got to come because we don't want you to lose that discipline and that focus of being at the meet. And so every meet I was sitting there in the stands just steaming, going, oh, I could beat that guy. Oh, I could beat that guy. Oh. So it was a little... Once I was healed and was ready to compete again, I was back to training very quickly to get myself ready to go for the next year. So, the coach, Monty Stratton at the time, I got to give him credit, and John Salahag, because those guys, I've heard a lot of horror stories about people getting cut because they got injured or they got hurt. I think if you have the right attitude and you have the coach, communicating with the coaches and you're following what they ask of you, it's a contract. It's a contract between you and the university that you're going to run for them, you're going to represent them, and they're going to take care of you. And so if you get hurt on the job don't fire. Job takes care of you as long as you go to training every day, go to the training room, make sure you're getting treatment, make sure you're following the steps, make sure you're following up. And when you do all those things, then 9 times out of 10, I feel like they will take really good care of you to make sure that you get back to your health and be the best that you can. So started working back out in June, and I won every conference championship meet after that for 4 years. I was redshirted, so I had 4 full years. Went back, trained, worked out, and came back and represented the school very well. I'm still ranked number 3 on the boards at the University of Texas at Arlington in 400-meter hurdles. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity and to be able to graduate with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in 1996. That was a great achievement for me, knowing that I'm coming from Jamaica, coming from home where none of my family members that I can recall had graduated at the time with a degree. So it was very good and very encouraging for me to see that and how they treat people. So when I hear a lot of the stories about, you know what, if you get hurt, they're going to cut you, if they're going to do this, there is more to that story than they're letting on. And so I hate every university, but I know University of Texas Arlington take great care of me, and I'm very grateful for that. You cooling down, Ian? You get extra hot out there?
Yeah, I'm an NAPCA man. It's hot out there, you know. But for you guys, I'll do it 100 times.
All right, good.
All right. So before I got two more questions for you, Baz, and I'm gonna give you a break. These are very short questions.
Sure.
What did you miss most about Jamaica when you went to Texas?
What I missed home was probably more the food and the food and the climate. Family, of course, you miss, but the food and the climate was the two things that I think I missed the most. But we improvised with the food because we cooked. There was 5 Jamaicans there, and we cooked every evening. We bought our groceries and we cooked. We didn't eat the fast food like most did, and so that we solved pretty easily. But the climate change was a big deal for us because come October, when the temperature starts to drop at 70 degrees, we thought it was cold until we hit 45 and 33 later on in November, December, when we really learned what cold was. And you had no choice but to go out there and practice. You still had to run each day. You had to show up and you had to give your best. And it wasn't just you out there, so you can't complain and go, well, why am I out here? Hey, there's 60 other athletes out here, and it's cold in their lane too, so you got to go run. So that was the biggest thing that I missed was just the very nice Jamaican weather to be able to train in all year long and to be able to maximize your performance. But you figure it out.
All right. So before we get to Michelle, we're coming up with you next. So Ian gonna start off with Michelle. I got one more question for Errol, and then Ian will get into Michelle. Trying to get some more detailed information about her, just for us to know her a little bit more. Errol, so you graduated from University of Texas Arlington. Just for the record, what was your most memorable moment while you was in college? I know that in terms of graduating from college, your family was, proud of you. That was a big thing. About on the track, what could you say that you just something that you just always will remember while you was in college?
Well, as I mentioned before, in my first year, I tore my hamstring at UTA, and I was a sprint hurdler who had the record at the Carifta Games. I really mainly was recruited for sprint hurdling, but I could do the 400 hurdles, and that was the main thing that I ran for 3-4 years at UTA. They said no sprinting, nothing explosive, just do the over distance. All I ran was the 400 hurdles and the 400 4x4 every now and then. I didn't even run a sprint relay, and so that was a little bit disappointing for me. But the most memorable moment came when my last year, about 2 weeks before the conference championship meet, I said to the coach, I said, I think I want to try to run the 110 hurdles. And he goes, well, it's your last year, so go for it. So I was like, okay, good. So I did a couple of drills over the hurdles that week, and then the week before conference, a couple more drills, and he entered me in the 110 hurdles. And in the heats, I was a little bit nervous, and I was like, man, I haven't done this in about 5 years now since I've run sprint hurdles. And I got up, and I was shocked after 2 hurdles that there was only one guy in front of me. And I'm like, what? I got this. And so I ran down and literally I got second in the heat. And that told me, I said, you know what, if I can run second in this heat, and I think I ran about 14:10 at the time. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go win this final tomorrow. And sure enough, the next day I got out there and I got out of that blocks, man, and it was incredible. And it was stiff competition. The person who won was right there, and it was the last two hurdles before I finally just pulled away and got him on the line. I was like, yes, and stuff. And it was memorable to me because everyone on the team knew that I didn't run the hurdles for 4 years, and I was doing it for the very first time. And it was incredible. It's like a fire was lit under everyone after that on the team. And there was no event that I think we lost after that. Everyone just rose to the challenge and won the 100, won the 200. Elston Carley was out there running. He saw the 100. He ran the 100, the 200, and he just crushed. I think he ran about 20.3 that day because he was so excited after seeing me run that 110 hurdle. So that, I think, stands out to me as one of my most memorable moments up there at UTA. So it was exciting. Thanks for asking.
Well, Baz, I could talk to you, I could talk to you for an hour, but I'm gonna we're gonna give you a break. We're gonna get back to you for you to tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now and what you have planned for the future in terms of your career and for your family. So I'm gonna hand it over to Ian, to just to learn some more about your wife. Some questions about it, and I got a few for her, but I'm gonna hand it over to Ian right now.
Okay, Mrs. Byles, it's really a pleasure to have you on here, especially to have you guys as a family. And my question, is it's gonna be to tell us a little bit more about Mrs. Byles, but the most critical points I really want to learn about, because I'm the family guy here. I love family. I love to see family togetherness, and especially a happy family. And your husband would have left out a critical point. Is that where you guys met? So I would like you to just to give us a little insight of who is Mrs. Byles, where you were born or where you grew up, and then just lead us into how you guys met. Because without that togetherness, then there wouldn't be these two champion boy in the middle there, So,
Well, thank you. So I'm actually originally from Jamaica as well. So I'm from Montego Bay. I'm actually from St. Elizabeth, up in Southfield. So I was in Jamaica. We moved from Jamaica when I was around 4. Then did the typical Jamaican transition. We went to New York first, stayed there for a few years, and then moved to Texas when I was in elementary school. My mom told me we were going on vacation. We were going to go to Texas on vacation. So I didn't ask why or things. I was having to say bye to my friends, but this has been the longest vacation in history because we never left. So, but we had more family down here, which was the main reason why we made the transition down to Texas. So grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, went to college at the University of North Texas, and got a bachelor's in marketing from there. While I was in college, I went to Jamaica. So I would go to Jamaica every summer. And this particular summer, when I went to Jamaica, when I got there, my aunt had come down from St. Elizabeth to pick me up from the airport. And so get there, she's talking to a gentleman who's waiting to pick up his son. So the son he was picking up was Elston Colley. And so Elston was on my flight. They introduced us. We introduced us when we were at KFC. And so we're like, hey, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So then on the flight back the following week, Elston was on that same flight. So we talked on the flight, and probably a month later, I hadn't talked to him that whole month. Then talked to him, said, hey, I have this Microsoft Word disk, and school was just starting. I needed Microsoft for my computer. So I said, okay, I'll come by and pick it up. So go to his house to pick it up, and we're talking, me, Elston, and a friend of his, and Errol calls while I'm there. And so Errol was actually on vacation, visiting Texas at the time because he was living in Florida. So they're like, hey, you should come with us to come with my friend Errol. And normally I'd be like, no, it's okay. But for some reason on this day in October 16th of 1999, I said, sure, I'm not doing anything else the rest of the day. So we went, and then I met Errol, and the rest is history. So we ended up, he was here for a week. And so we ended up spending that entire week together. I was living in Denton going to school, and so he was staying in Arlington. So every day I would make the drive to Arlington after class to come hang out with Errol, spend time with him while he was here for that week. And unbeknownst to me, while he was here that week, he actually applied for a position with La Quinta Hotels. And so after he went back to Florida, probably a month after he went back, he was like, hey, I didn't tell you, but I applied for this job, and I interviewed, they're offering me a position, but there are 2 properties that I need to choose from. So I'm like, great, I'll go take a look at them for you and, give you a recommendation which one I think you should pick. And so I did that, and then we would spend hours and hours on the phone. Errol doesn't remember this part, but we would spend 2-3 hours on the phone all the time. So, and I would send him care packages. Now, back then, of course, in Florida, he had access to Jamaican products, but I was like, hey, we have a store here. So I would send him boxes with cocktail patties and banana chips and all the stuff he could get in Florida. But for some reason in my head, he couldn't get it, and I could. So I would send him these little care packages. And then January of 2000, he ended up moving back to Dallas, and we've been together ever since.
All right. You know the question I'm gonna ask. What is it about Errol? So now you gotta tell me. I'm the guy. I tell you, I'll dig into family. I love family story. So what it is about this guy that captivate you so much within 1 week that
Yeah. So very first, it was his eyes. It's like,
wow.
When you meet, they say that corny line that your eyes lock, and the whole room goes dark. But it's one thing where to this day, I still remember the moment we met and our eyes locked. And so I would say that, but his personality. One thing with Errol is that he's a very giving person, but he's a very genuine person. And so when you meet him, he is someone that you can talk to about from the smallest thing to the largest thing. And he's going to give you honest feedback. He's going to support you no matter what. And, he's just so caring and loving. It's like, another thing besides that is that his sense of humor. It's like no matter what's going on, we always find a way to laugh. Like he'll say something, I'll say something, and we can laugh. We could be in the worst situation possible, and he will find humor in it. And he has an infectious laugh, and just the smile that comes across his face. It's like that just makes everything so much better. It's like it gives you that sense of that recharge that you need.
And may I ask, how old were you at this time?
How old was I when we met? I was 22.
Okay, so at that time, I know everybody would have had their dream husband. As guys, we already have our dream wife, what our wife and our husband, should look like. So basically, you just right away you spot your Prince Charm right away, which is amazing.
I did. I did. I was very blessed, very, very blessed.
That's a very, 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 very fun, loving story right there. And as I see, the product of both of you, or the union of both of you coming together, is two wonderful kids. I really love the family bondage. I just learned about you guys lately through Ian, but I've been, sneaking in. Everybody wants you get an insight into somebody. We start looking at the Facebook, and I've looked at you guys and family. I can see how much you guys are geared towards family, and therefore, I know your kids are nowhere short of that love and affection. They would have grown up around two people who were just deeply in love, and I just imagine in that home how much fun it is, just having kids and growing up. So I don't want to get into that part as yet before we get the kids on board. So Ian, I'll let you take over again. But thanks for sharing.
No problem.
All right, so guys, so just laughing out loud by myself. You know, I just love these stories. And before we move on, I just want, for the record, I'm going to go right back to Errol. I want, for the record, for him to say what do you like most about your wife? What's the best quality that you could say, man? You know, this year, I could live with her. When you make that decision, that look, I could live with this lady forever. What qualities that most? I know you got plenty of them. Just tell me, just one that you could remember right now. No pressure.
Well, the first one is, I mean, he is C, so it's very easy to embrace and hold her every single day. And then her personality, her warmth, her sense of humor. She mentioned she used to tell me that when she hears me laugh, she was wondering if she could live with my laugh because it sounded something. And so I was like, well, if somebody can live with my laugh, then certainly they can deal with me for the rest of my life. So I'm very drawn to that. She is very warm, very family oriented, very caring, very loving, very giving. And, those are the things that you look for when you're establishing a foundation, is someone who shares those personalities and stuff. And so, I remember she used to take me over to her grandmother's house, and just her interaction with her grandmother, her mother, her father, her siblings, just made me realize just how much of a caring person that she is. And if someone cares that much about their family like that, then they're going to be the same way with me as we go forward and as we grow our kids. That's the type of personality that you want for them, is someone who has that great, warm, caring, forgiving, sensitive, fun-loving personality. Someone who is not uptight and get easily overreacted about things, but can find humor in things to make things on life a little bit easier to deal with. There's a lot of stresses out there, but if you can find something to relax about or just to laugh about, to lighten the moment, not take it that someone's not taking it too not serious enough, then I think that makes a big difference. And I saw that in her, where there's a lot of times that there's a lot of things that she was discussing and that may start laughing, and she's like, "What?" And then she starts laughing, and it just becomes such a relaxed, easier situation to deal with because you can find some humor in it, and that's the type of personality that you want around you forever and stuff. So very happy to have found that in her.
All right, Boz. I think that we give you 100 out of 100. Yeah, did real good, man. So just on the outside, just looking in, and I said, I am very and it was a privilege just to be able to talk with you. So I'm gonna just ask Michelle a couple questions about her family experience. So she, got the family. She got the mom and dad, and I know that Errol, your family was in Jamaica, so I know it was good to have, your wife's family. So Michelle, what most you enjoy about your family? What would you say most you enjoy about just being with your family?
Um, we're so blessed in that with, and you family, you mean us four,
Yes, yes.
because it's like with our boys, it's like usually whenever you have kids, you hear that, oh, boys are just so rambunctious. Like when you have a son, they're just going to be such a handful. You won't be able to control them. They're just off the wall, hyperactive and everything. And it's like with both of our boys, we've always felt the total opposite. That I think they're a reflection of us, and that we have very calm, just chill personalities. And both of them came out that way, where they're just so calm. They are very adaptable, where whether we're here at home or if we're in the hills in Jamaica, no AC, or just wherever we are, they adapt very easily. And they enjoy family as well. Like they enjoy being around us, which as a parent, we I feel very blessed to be able to say that because so often you hear stories where oh my gosh, by the time your child is 10, they're not going to want to talk to you, they won't want to be around you or anything. And it's like Errol and I just went to Jamaica a couple of weeks ago, and the boys were like, when are you coming back, we miss you. Like they weren't that big on us going, because we would be apart. And it's like that, warms my heart and makes me feel good because it's like, okay, they actually like us. They like us and around. Like they're so smart, they're so sweet, they're so respectful, not just to us, but to everyone, and they're so caring to us, to their extended family, just to people in general.
All
It's like
right.
qualities are things that you pray that your children, have. And we've been blessed where they do have those qualities and they exhibit those qualities. And, every day I just always pray that for God to keep those core values within them just as they grow up and to be men. Because as young black men in America, you always worry. They go out for a jog, I worry. They go to the and it's like, but knowing that they know how to conduct themselves, how to carry themselves, whether they're with us or not, gives some sort of comfort, but
Okay.
they're just,
Excellent.
they're,
Ex- Excellent. Excellent. Love your answer. I'm going to move on to a little bit more in details, just to know a little bit more about you too as a person. So, from an individual standpoint, so for you, other than your family, just from a personal standpoint, where do you draw your inspiration from? Like each day, what motivates you to wake up in the morning?
family, of course, but work. I've been with Nike Inc. I work for Nike. I've been with the company for almost 18 years. Um, and so being with a company like that, it's, every day we're hearing about just things with history and heritage and just inspirational stories. So that in itself, is a motivator where I'm able to get up and I enjoy going to work. Right now it's virtually, but I enjoy my job, enjoy going to work and all those things. And with that, it's like I have my Nike family who watched, my family grow from the boys. They've grown up within the Nike family, the Nike culture. So, that
Okay.
definitely is something that is motivational to me as well each day.
All right. All right. So now we're talking about Nike. I mean, you have a long, outstanding relationship working for such a top brand. Just tell us a little bit. We're going to touch a little bit about the sports. I know that the male side of the genes, with all the running and stuff, and we know that all can't come from Errol. I know he might not know, but we just want to say, just tell us a little bit about as an athlete, who's your favorite athlete that you admire, just like you like to watch?
Um, I would say my favorite outside of my children, um,
Yeah.
not necessarily a Nike athlete, but definitely Bolt is an athlete that I enjoy to watch. Shelly Ann Fraser Price, as another athlete that I'm watching, and also Sonia Richard Ross prior to her retirement. I am watching her as well.
All right. So, yeah, all right. Great answers. So, I'm not sure. I know that you probably did some form of athletics, maybe in high school. If I'm wrong, you could correct me. But if you was if you was supposed to be an athlete, what would be your favorite event? Or if you should do a sport, what would that be?
So if so in high school, I was not like you said that the boys got their athletic abilities from Errol, and I agree 1,000%. In high school, I actually tried tennis. I would play casually with my mom. I wasn't
Okay.
the best at it, so I didn't go very far. But if I could be an athlete now, I would definitely want to be a track athlete. Just
Okay.
everything I learned over the years, with Errol and with the boys, I would definitely like to be a track athlete. I try now to keep up with them. I can't at all, but whenever they're out on the track, it motivates me to go out on the track and at least walk,
Okay.
try and do a little something, try and stay in shape.
All right. All right. Well, before we get to the boards, just tell us a little bit about this Dynamic Speed Track Club. What role do you play? And just tell us a little bit more about the club.
So my role is loudspeaker. So I'm cheerleader, the person that you always hear screaming in all the videos, videographer, just team mom, just helping Errol with whatever he needs, whether it's getting the water supplies, whatever, just helping him work out logistics of transportation to meets and, whatever it might be. And then making sure that the boys have what they need from, the gear, you know, from a gear standpoint and, you know,
Well, it sounds to me that you're the most important person, and the reason why I'm saying that because we know I've been in sports, I've been in business. I know about support. A lot of times you might think that the person that you see up front, that they actually doing a lot of the things, but it's the support that they have around them, that helps them and to say, look, keep them on track. So I just want to reward you and congratulate you that for all the support that you've been doing for your family. It doesn't matter if it's you know cheering and bringing the water and make sure they don't fit forget the socks or spikes on all these little things. It just support is just working together as one. It's just very awesome. So before we get to Dominic, we're going to start with Dominic first, so he could kind of, start getting his mind together, in terms of that. So Michelle, I'm going to ask you one more question, then we're going to get to the boys. I'm going to let Ian start out with one of the boys. So in terms of what you're doing now for yourself, in terms of the club, and I'm going to talk to Errol a little bit about his business. So what do you see yourself doing now? In 5-10 years. Are we seeing are we should expect to see another little baby daughter, another Junior Byles, or
no, no, we've been blessed. I used to always say God gave us each two hands, that's for two kids. And so we were blessed with two perfect boys. So we said, we're going to quit while we're ahead. So definitely done from that standpoint. But I would say in the next 5 years, Dominic will be heading off to college in the next 3, and Jordan in the next 6. So, it's really just trying to spend as much time with them as possible and just make it as we can
all right.
while we're all still living under the same roof before they go off to college. Um, and then just planning for getting them together and then just figuring out what Errol and I are going to do in our free time.
All right. All right, Ian. Before I turn it over to you, I want to show one of Dominic race. We just want the viewers just to see a little bit about who we getting ready to talk with. So this is going to show a little race of Dominic, and then Ian will get into the beginning of the interview for Dominic.
Good start on lane 7 for Atkins. 13-14 boys, 400 final. And Jefferson, big start in lane 2. So Jefferson makes a move, and Ward now in 6, taking care of business in the backstretch. Jefferson continues to gain ground at 2. So this is Ward and Jefferson's race right now. Keep an eye on Floyd, though, in 5. He'll be a contender coming off the curve. Continuing strong one for Ward, and Byles hasn't really given any ground out in 8. Here comes Jefferson now in 2. And now Fair gets into the picture. But Byles continues to lead, and Byles accelerates and wins. Dominic Byles, 50.05. Fair is second in 50.58, and Floyd is third.
And then Floyd of boys and girls will take third at 50.75. Your top 3. And
All right, guys. Take it on,
Okay,
Ian.
okay. All right, Dominic. So I was privileged to watch a few of your race, and the time that you're running, pretty impressive, I must say. So I want to give it up to you. I also want to give it up to the hard work that's been put in by mommy and daddy, the support team that you have there. I know you don't even need to go outside of your family. You have a very good support team, as we can see. So before you even get into who is Dominic and where did you get, that athletic ability from, we know where it is already. But, we have already talked to mommy. We have talked with daddy. So now I want you to give us your view of daddy and mommy, as a son. I don't even want you to get into athletic as yet, because you had to have mommy and daddy before you even see that track. But I know they would have been an inspiration for you. So could you just tell us a little bit about mommy and daddy, what it is like to be, in a home with such amazing parents, and then just tell us a little about your track and field and where did it all started? Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Well, beginning with living with my parents it's a pretty enjoyable experience for the most part because I think one thing I'll always remember is the stories that they tell me from their childhood and from going to college and work experience. Like my dad, the story he told you about his first day at practice, he always related that to me anytime I had a hard day at workout. Because I would go out there and I have my teammates out there and everything's good when you're running, everything's fine. But then as soon as you finish the last rep, you're on your back. You feel everything that happens. And then, like, I'd say that the inspiration really comes from both of them just climbing the corporate ladder and my father being an entrepreneur as well. Because him deciding to, make a lot of sacrifices to get where he is in business and then starting the restaurant as well, which became a big part of our lives in nutrition, Mecca Gates, Caribbean cuisine in Arlington, Texas. Yeah, him being in real estate is something that I hope to venture out into as well. And he always takes me with him whenever he's going on any deals or when he's looking at properties or he tells me about just insights of the business. And he does that with a lot of stuff too. But that just can really put me ahead and it kind of gets my train for what I'll be doing soon. And my mom, what she does is really, she's always working with me on just, I'll say, character. Not that my dad doesn't work with my mom. Every time she's around me, it's always, it's just my face or body language or anything that might need to be, you know, made better at the time. So I always let me know. And then cooking too. That's one thing that both of them have taught me a lot about. Because as a man, you can't just go around expecting other people to do stuff for you, especially cook, because how you survive. And then,
Are you hearing? Are you hearing?
Yeah.
Well, Ian,
No, I'm not hearing as well. He started
could you
out.
speak up a little, Dominic?
Yeah. Um, Dominic, don't. This is the one time where you could speak louder than your dad. Because you're live right now. So we want to make sure that we got a lot of young viewers. We got a lot of younger kids and stuff. So we also we want to hear your story, and we want to be able to it to resonate. So Dominic, just tell us a little bit about where do you go to high school, and just tell us what event do you do and what's your personal best.
well, I go to high school in Lakeridge. It's in Mansfield, Texas, and I say it's probably top school in the district to run in. That's my opinion's kind of biased, but still. And when you go there, the team, I think first day I got there, it was a little nerve wracking because I hadn't been able to connect with them or anything. I came into the track, the way the schedule was set up, I had I had a different set of classes than the rest of the track kids for the first semester. Then the second semester I come into the class and they've already bonded and they know each other and they've worked out together. So I come in and they know of me from my middle school runs. But when I get there, it's like they're all kind of expecting a lot from me. And so I know that I have to kind of, put my foot down and kind of let them know I'm not going to get bullied, but, I'm still going to have respect for my elders as well. And so going there and them kind of warming up to me was nice. The coaches were great. The coaches, they made a lot of accommodations for, my development. And I think that that helped me in my career, even though it was short so far. My freshman career was short due to COVID. But my teammates and yeah, my teammates and everyone around me was a big help and they supported me a lot too. And I actually run 100, 200, and 400, but I've only run the 100, 200, and sprint relays in my high school career.
All right, awesome, Dominic. So we see that you already mature enough just to make sure that you're not gonna let anybody come and push you around. So we're glad that you're able to to realize that look, maturity is very important in life, and just to know yourself is also important. So we're just so happy for that. So Dominic, just tell us when did you exactly realize that you could run? I mean, I know that you was introduced, but when you think you could be, you thought to yourself, I think I could do this and I could be good at it.
I'll tell you the exact race that I think that I realized I might want to take this a step further. And it was in sixth grade. We had only one school track meet, and it was the whole district that would come out. And I remember, I think it was at Mansfield High School. The whole team, they were there. And I was on campus still because I was in sixth grade compared to the other fifth graders. And so I was kind of ready and prepared to show everyone that I was training and show everyone what I was doing. So it was the 4x4 last race, and everything had been going well that day. I did well in the 200 and the 100. I came first in the 200 and second in the 100, I believe. I can't remember the times, but I remember this 4x4. And as soon as the gun went off, I'm thinking that everything's going to be even. I'm thinking everything's going to be smooth, everything good. But it wasn't good. It wasn't good because as soon as we take off, I see my teammate start kind of lagging behind. And so me, I'm kind of an optimistic person, so I don't really think anything of it from that point. But then a second leg get the stick and third leg get the stick. We're still in what fifth, sixth place, and the gap keep expanding and expanding. And from my team to first place is about 78 by the time I get the stick. So I see my third leg coming in, and he's dying, legs wobbling and everything. And I don't even try to pull him out or anything. I just kind of stand still and take the stick from there. And as I look at the competition, I just kind of But yeah, I go in and I run the turn, and I'm kind of in lane 2 because I don't want to impede on anyone and kind of spike anyone. But I go in, and from when I get to the 300, I just hear somebody say my name. I don't know who. I don't know. It might have just been one person, but I hear them say my name, and they just give me one boost of energy. And I think that might have been the fastest 300 I ever ran, still to this day. Because from there, 80 meters behind, I was able to just drive sprints. And in the end, I caught up to first place, and he tried to give a little go because first and second place were right there. And as soon as I got there, first place kind of shoot off. But in the end, I ended up catching up and opening up on him, and I dipped in the line and first place. So
Okay, awesome. All right, well, it's always important to, to remember when you first got that feeling, be like, man, I'm think I'm able to do this thing, and I'm enjoying it. So just, that's good. Just remember that question because it's probably going to come back to you again, in the future. Um, I also want to find out about. I'm going to ask you one more question. I'm going to turn it back over to Ian. So just let for the viewers know we got a lot of viewers right now that's listening and watching from Jamaica. So you got the opportunity to travel to Jamaica to go over to Jamaica and run against the Jamaican kids over there on their turf. Can you explain that to us? What was it like? How did you feel when you go over to Kingston, Jamaica, and saying you're going to run against some of these guys that you already know that you heard about the results? I'm pretty sure you heard that Jamaica have some fast runners. So, and then you heard about the pen relays and things like that. What was the experience like to go down to Jamaica and run over there?
well, I'll tell you a story that kind of sums up how I felt going down there because when I went down there to the Camperdown Classic when my father helped organize, he was taking me to the Heaton area where I saw all the other kids and I saw the class 4, class 3, and I kind of look around and I kind of see there's some kids that's around my height, my size, and I looked to my dad and I said, okay, this easy. I got this under control. And so it looks where I'm looking, and it's like, oh, boy, you're running with them. And so I look over and I see a man with a beard. I see a man like a family and a house. And, those kids are big, but man, in the end, I just had to go out there and then just kind of start to prove myself. I won't say prove myself yet, but start to prove myself. Because the first time I went down there, I ran and I came, I think, 4th in the heat, and I came 7th overall. And I think that's probably better than some people expected me to do still. But I wasn't happy enough yet, and so I decided that I was going to keep training hard. And then I came back the second year, and this was 2018. 2018, I came, and I tied first place in 100 again. And I think that felt pretty good, even though it was a tie still. It felt pretty good to have a gold medal, and I was happy to go and compete with some of the best. I think we all know that, as competitive as it is here in Texas, when you go down to Jamaica, it's a whole other level of competition and spirit and support for the sport in general.
All right. Well, Dominic, that's just one of those opportunities that's going to bless you in the long run. I'm going to turn you over to Ian. Then I'll come back to you.
All right, guys. First of all, I want to apologize probably to my fans and the viewers. If you guys look in the background, you guys would see I'm actually at the cricket field. I am a cricketer, and actually today this one catch me out on the field. So my battery is running low, but I'm definitely going to see if I get a charger and get to my car. But before I even go, I want to ask Dominic this question, and it's also going to go over to your brother also when he's answering. Dominic, as a young athlete, growing up, whether it be at the beginning of your career or just a day ago, I would really want to know who gave you the best advice and what was that advice that captivate you, that basically energize you to say, hey, I'm good at this, whether it be your sports or just being in school. What's the best advice you have ever gotten and who did that advice came from?
Well, that's a loaded question because out of all the people, it's there's a lot of things that I remember, but I think one thing that stands out was from Coach Mills whenever I was sitting with him on, on February 2018, about the same day of the Camperdown Classic, and we're having breakfast with him. And we were originally planning not to run that day, but we talked to him, and he was telling us a story of Bolt whenever, I remember the exact race. He had to take him through a race where it was going to teach him, just learning to lose before he learned to win. And I think that the same thing happened to me, and it's still happening to this day, where you have to learn to lose before you learn to win. So I think that just kind of, just kind of, what's the word? Just made me less uptight and kind of resonate with you as you go throughout meets, and it gives you kind of a perspective too, because it shows that it's not just about winning; it's about growth, and that becomes the focus instead of just winning, winning, winning. It's becoming better than you were last week, the day before, whatever it may be, even when you lose too.
All right, thank you. Well said. And I don't want your little brother to fall asleep, So, Jordan, time for you to come to the forefront. I know Ian have a lot of question here ready for you, but you're the youngest of the team, the Byles team. As I can see, it's already a winning team. So I would like you to tell the fans a little bit about Jordan, you know, in terms of you being an athlete and also the way you view mommy and daddy also, because I know each child is always different in some way. And you could just say a little thing about mommy and daddy as a family there. And also you get to even talk about your big brother and how much he has influenced you.
Yeah, well, in terms of living with my parents, it's very nice and fun, and we all make jokes, and it's all fun and games. And in terms of living with Dominic, he encourages me a lot, but he also picks on me a lot too. And you know, it's it's like Dominic was one of the most people that encouraged me to be an athlete, because like at first I didn't want to be an athlete, but I saw them working out there, and it just made me think that I could do this too.
So what is your main event that you do?
Um, uh, the most event that I do is probably the 100 and 200.
Okay. You're just as good as daddy, right?
Yeah.
He
All
thinks,
right. I'm gonna let you ask a question. I'm gonna run and see if I get a charger from one of these guys here, all right?
all
All
right.
right. All right.
So give me 1 minute break, guys.
Yeah. Hey. All right. Yeah. All right. Until Ian returns. So Jordan, now you definitely is the anchor for the family. And typically, I'm just gonna tell you the secret. Typically, the little brother that's coming up after the big brother, they normally outshine the big brother. Because what happened, you learn all the tricks and you get to see how the things that he was doing that you could do better. And you learn from some of these things that he wasn't able to do. And then next thing you use that and it just inspire you and you're just able to just flourish. But with that said, and then that's just a little tip. So just tell us a little bit, Jordan, about how old are you, and just let us know obviously you said you're a sprinter, but we just wanted to hear from you. Just tell us, where do you go to school, and then I got some more questions for you.
I'm 12 and I go to school at Danny Jones Middle School. And, it's in terms of being an athlete, it's fun, but like sometimes if you get like beat, it kind of like you have to have motivation for everything you do. And, it's I'm about to start school track too, and it's gonna. I hope it's gonna be very fun, but I'm curious to see what they do with the whole COVID thing.
Okay. All right, Jordan. As I said, I'm gonna ask you some of the fun question. We're gonna keep. We're not gonna. I want you to feel real good, and I want you to enjoy and just smile and just relax as much as possible. You're at home. So tell us a little bit about the COVID situation. How does that affected you since you wasn't able to like compete? When you heard the news that school was gonna be closed and you're gonna have to finish school at home, how did you feel about that, and how did you was able to deal with that?
It kind of made me sad because I couldn't see my friends in person, you know. But it wasn't too hard to adapt because we had the technology, and it took me a little bit, but eventually I got the hang of all the online stuff.
All right, all right, all right. So other than track, can you just let me know what other sport you would do if you weren't doing track? What's your second love, or what's your favorite other sport?
I did basketball for a few years, but I stopped so I could mainly focus on track. But I still do it for fun, and sometimes us as a family we'll play soccer together in the backyard, and that's pretty fun.
All right, awesome, awesome. Another question for you. You might not think about this, but when you got a big competition coming up, how do you prepare? What do you do the night before? How do you prepare for a race? Do you have any? Just tell us what a day before competition, and you could just tell me. Yeah, just tell me about the before competition, because I have another question in terms of how like do you prepare for a race from a mental standpoint? What do you think about when you're going into a race?
I usually think like it's it's like it like I usually listen to a lot of music so I can get my head in like a confident space. And you have to think like I usually think all of my past races and like I can do this and I'm gonna be the best.
Okay, so you pretty much talk to yourself that you'll be able to do it. What you have learned in practice. You try to visualize it in your head. Um, how do you do you get very nervous before a race, or are you just calm? I mean, what is it like? Before you get in the starting blocks.
Before I get in the starting blocks, I'm very nervous. Like my legs feel like jelly, and it's just feel like a mess. But as soon as the gun goes off, like my brain just goes into a focus mode, just to complete the race and do the best that I can.
All right, all right, all right. So good, good, good answer. So I know you haven't been over to Jamaica. Have you? I know you probably haven't been over to Jamaica to run yet, but I know eventually that will happen. Are you looking forward to going to Jamaica, or you just kind of just take it day by day?
I'm looking forward to it because I would have run last year, but my knee got injured. So I'm hopefully next year I can run, and it's gonna be a real challenge. So I'm gonna have to train extra hard, but I'm excited for it.
Okay. All right. So can you tell me what's your to date, what's your favorite race that you remember that you ran that you was like, man, I just happy the way I execute that race, you know.
It might come as a surprise because in the race I got second, but there was this big dude, he was pretty much a man in my race, and it was a meet that I wasn't planning to run at, but everyone convinced me to do it, and I just executed the race very well. I ran the turn very hard, and the straightaway used all the energy I could. And even though I wasn't able to catch him, I was a few meters behind him.
Okay. So, any possibility of running the hurdles, or are you just gonna stick with the sprints?
I think I'm just gonna stick with the sprints.
We'll see.
All right, John. So I'm really happy that you're able to share some of it. So, who is your favorite athlete right now in track and field, and just tell me about well, let me hear your answer first.
My favorite athlete that's running right now is probably Noah Lyles or Johan Blake. Because Noah Lyles, I like his personality. Like he'll dance before and after the race, and he seems like a very fun and exciting person. And Johan Blake, he's a legend. And it was very fun when I got to meet him too, and he just seems like a very cool person.
All right, awesome. So, just really happy to hear you, and just to tell me the reason why, you choose that athlete, really mean a lot. So we're gonna switch over to Dominic. We want to hear about, and actually, Jordan, just tell me first, outside of track and field, who is your best sports team? What team do you cheer for in football?
Well, I don't really watch football that much.
Okay.
I watch more basketball, and
Okay.
I usually root for the Lakers.
Lakers. Okay. All right. Well, let's say good team, good choice. Good team. Just always want to figure out what you think about so when you're not doing track or you're not training, what you like to do in your spare time? That's for Jordan.
Um, I like to play games with either my friends or Dominic, and I like to watch movies and go to the pool and just hang out with people.
Okay. So Jordan, any possibility when you think you might be able to and don't be scared of your dad. Any possibility when you think you might be able to beat him on the track in the 100 meter? How
Well,
many years? How many years you giving him?
um, maybe maybe about one or two. You know,
Okay.
I cannot get in the 60 because I can't. But the 100, that's going to be more of a challenge, so I'll have to train more for that.
Okay. So you think you get him in the longer distance, or I know you can. So not because I asked you, I am rooting for you. I believe that you could get him if you tell yourself that you could get him this year. I believe you can. You just have to set that goal, and I believe you get him. But but don't focus too much on him. But I know that yeah, he's I seen him on the track, and I seen him playing around sometimes. So you got to surprise him one of these days.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one, yeah, he thinks he can beat me, but every year we generally have a race at the end of the season where I race against both of them. And unfortunately, last year I had a little bit of mishap, and this guy kind of got out on me, and he beat me. And then this guy, he tried, and I'm pretty sure I got him right on the line, but he keeps thinking that he won. So I'm gonna let him have it this year, and I'm getting ready for September 13th, my birthday. We're gonna have another little showdown, so we'll see. I'll send you videos of that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I like that competitiveness. I like that you guys doing this all for the fun and games. I know for every kid, I mean, I have a daughter and we play dominoes together. She doesn't do any sports, so we play games. And she just still trying to beat me in one game in the dominoes. And so it's always, they have a different motivation, and but it's always good. So back to Dominic. Dominic, so I want you to tell us about, you have actually has been on the national scene. You've been in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina. I've been over North Carolina A&T for many occasions, and so just traveling down here to North Carolina, how was the experience, to come to Greensboro and just to run against the best athlete in the US? We know we talk about Jamaica, but we know that US is good. They have great athletes just like Jamaica, when it comes down to sprinting. So just tell us a little bit about how was that experience traveling to North Carolina A&T and ran the 400. Just that race to me was, I know that race got to give you a lot of confidence, knowing that you was in lane 8, you just ran your own race. Tell us what was going through your mind. I mean, did you believe you was gonna win, or it just happened? Just tell us a little bit about that race when you came down.
Well, starting with the race, I think that I wouldn't say that I was certain I was gonna win. I would say that I was going in there definitely with the goal to win, and I had a laser focus on getting to that line first. And going into the race, I had the slowest time out of the heats. That's why I was in lane 8. And when you're in lane 8, the thing is you can see everyone else whenever they're getting close to you or when they pass you, especially on the curves. So as I go out, and I wasn't a strong starter back then, so I kind of just step out of the blocks and I get on to the first straight, and it's okay. I hear the announcers and I see other people kind of coming up on me on the side. But it was really on the second curve whenever I see Dylan Sampson. He's a really big dude. He's way taller than me, and he's just like a giant on the track. And so I see him kind of, just hobbling just past me. And I see him, and I'm like, no, I can't let him get me, because I think he finished one place in front of me on the 200. And so from there, I just kind of kick it into another gear and start turning over my legs and try to relax my arms a little bit. And I come off for the second turn, and I'm in the last straight, and I look around, and it's like, wow, I'm really in this race. I can really take this home. So it was everything that I had, and I just pushed through, got through the line, and I saw my dad running down through the stands. He was yelling and crying and beating his chest and stuff, pushing past people. I was worried for the crowd, to be honest, but that was a really memorable experience. And,
Okay, great. So Dominic, now that you want to race that really truly that out, you went in the race to win it, but can you just tell us what's the feeling like? I know, I have different feeling. I noticed after the race, you was trying to congratulate your competitors. I didn't see any emotion or any big celebration. I know you're young. Tell us what were going through your mind after you crossed the finishing line.
man, I was shocked. Like, I knew I could do it, but I didn't know I was going to do it. And then, like, every race, I always try and congratulate my competitors, still, no matter what, win, lose, or draw. And I try to do that still, even though, some of them not taking it too well, or some of them will take it well. I wasn't really thinking about a celebration. I don't know why. It's not something that I really got into until maybe recently. I think it was a regional meet in 2019. It was in Fort Worth or Lancaster, Fort Worth. And that was the first kind of celebration that I did. I ran through the line and I had my arms out. And but 400, I don't know, I never really did any type of huge celebration or
finishing show. I don't know, but it was a great feeling. Still, don't get me wrong. I was ecstatic to win, but
All right. Well, that's awesome. As I said, it's all about just enjoying yourself. I mean, you a young runner. You heard your brother Jordan. He's all excited about these. He liked the energy that Noah Lyles bring. We know that obviously Usain Bolt he bring a lot of energy before he runs, but everybody got their own pre-race, strategy that they use, and anything that you feel comfortable doing, just be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Just be yourself, and you'll find yourself at peace. With whatever decision you make before the race, and after the race. Because again, once you're being a good sportsman, that's all that matter. So, Dominic, tell us a little bit now about who's your favorite athlete and why. Why is that?
well, my favorite athlete is that's really hard between.
Well, one of them, just or you could give more than one if you want.
Okay, I'll give you my top three in no particular order is probably Johan Blake, Noah Lyles, and Usain Bolt, of course, because
Okay,
like
okay.
with Johan Blake, the work ethic and the mindset that he has on and off the track, I feel like you know in life and on the track too. And with Usain Bolt, him just being a relaxed kind of guy and a showman as well. I look up to that and I aspire to get to that level too. And then with Noah Lyles, him being a younger guy and him he's coming from America too, but he takes from Usain Bolt too. I was watching an interview where he was saying that as much as he respects Usain Bolt and everyone else in track, you can't put anyone else on a pedestal because if you put them on a pedestal, then you'll mentally believe that you can't pass them. And so, as much as you respect your favorite athletes and other competitors, you can never put them above yourself or above anyone else because that can create a mental block. Because anyone can break the record. Not anyone, I won't say, but Usain Bolt had to break Michael Johnson's records, and the person before him, Michael Johnson had to break the person before his records. I can't remember their name, but eventually every record will get broken, and you have to believe that you can do it.
All right, excellent, excellent, excellent. So I'm going to ask you these two questions, one for Dominic, one for John. It's the same question. You could answer simultaneously. So just tell me if you should be, you know, I want to say that, how would you celebrate? What would you do if find yourself becoming an Olympic champion one day? How would you? What? Tell us, how would you celebrate? What would you do? I want to find out. Just to see, what you do, what would make you happy other than just running on the track. How would you celebrate being, accomplishing one of the goals that you set, as a high standard?
Well, immediately after the race, as soon as I crossed through the line, I think I'd probably congratulate my competitors right next to me, and I'd probably just do, a little half lap around the track or maybe a full lap and just kind of, go by, say to everyone in the stands, Typically, I'll probably like that as soon as I get to the line too. And you kind of have your hands up too, you kind of waving to everyone, acknowledge everyone still. But celebrating afterwards, I don't know. I'm not really like a party person too, like with crowds, but I probably have a little party too, And
Okay.
I want to eat pretty good too, because
Okay. Okay.
pretty healthy
Yeah.
diet. I think
Okay.
that achieving a goal like that deserves, some pizza, some wings, able to just
Okay.
relax.
Okay. 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 I'm sure mom and dad hearing this right now. So, they know how what they'll do for you, pizza and wings, and you like a private party. So I want to hear Jordan, what he has to say regarding that, because he already said that he liked he liked some form of entertainment before the race. He admired the little dance. So tell me a little bit about it, Jordan.
Um, after, like, in terms of after I would win,
Yeah.
I'd probably just be so excited. I'll just scream everything out, I guess, and just be so happy. And like Dominic said, I'd take maybe a half lap, and I would just be really excited.
Okay, okay. So what you would do? What would you do the next day if you have, if this was in your world?
Um, I'd probably call a lot of people and ask them just how they're doing, and just feel like $1,000,000, I guess.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, guys. So I'm gonna touch base. Since I'm a Jordan. So Jordan, if you already decide, where do you see yourself? What other than track, from a career standpoint, do you have any idea of what you'd want to focus on? When you go to college, or
Um, I'm not really sure yet. I've thought about doing real estate like my dad, but I'm not fully sure what I
okay,
want.
okay, that's okay. Dominic, any idea of what any interest or anything popping in your mind, that what you really would want to do or study to become, at any point as yet?
Yeah, more recently I've put some thought into it, and I've kind of come across being a real estate agent. You know, getting into the
Okay.
real estate way, that would be something I'm looking forward to. I know it's hard work getting the license, especially in Texas, and I think that would just help me a lot, being someone that's into real estate, building capital to start investing myself. And if not that, then something in finance, I think. Something in
Okay. Okay. So you're looking at being an entrepreneur. There's a lot of career opportunities, not just in the being a real estate agent, but once you get a little bit deeper into the career thing, you'll see that you actually could get a degree into the real estate, not necessarily being an agent, but there's a lot of additional things that you can do in terms of that. So that's awesome. So just to say that I'm really happy about this interview today. I really think that you did really good. So just again, before we close through, um, Dominic, what do you see yourself? How far do you see yourself go in track? What's your goal? What would you like to accomplish in track and field?
Well, I'd say the main goals that I have are definitely winning an Olympic gold medal, multiple if possible, winning world championships, and yeah, closer to now, that's closer to where I am right now. I'm hoping to win the World Juniors, World Youth, Carifta Games, State. Those are my goals for my high school and collegiate years.
All right. Yeah, we want to get it on record. So, you might hear this question a lot, but we just want to get it on record because we're gonna have this videotape and your mom and dad gonna have it. And we want to look back on this thing 15, 20 years from now, when you were sitting down doing this interview, that you said that, look, you would love to be an Olympic champion, in your event. Um, Jordan, any hopes at the moment about where do you see yourself in track and field, in the collegiate level or so on?
Um, I'd like to, keep doing track and win a lot of the, like, um, what's it called? Yeah, the development meets, and if they decide to do the Junior Olympics next year, I want to make it because I almost made it last year and hopefully win. But I just, in terms of in the far future, I want to break the record, and I just want to be the best.
Okay. All right, well, awesome. So we're gonna touch a little bit more. I think I just saw Ian comment here. I don't think he's coming back, but he's probably on his way home. So guys, we really appreciate the interview. I'm gonna ask one final question for everyone, and we will just we're gonna close it out with one of the another video that at the end of the program that we also want to feature. So, Errol Baz, just want to say you're doing a great job with your sons. I know that for a guy that been through the high school level, the college level, and I know that if it wasn't through injuries, after the 1996, you would have gone on to still running on the senior level for Jamaica, but you run against, as I said, like Mitchell Francis, who was a NCAA champion for Clemson, and and obviously, as I said, I didn't realize that you was a sprint hurdler also. I just know that I hear about Errol Bass firstly from one of my teammates. Her name was Winsome Cole, and when we used to train together and I used to learn about the event, I was told that Bass was the man to beat, so so we talked about you, while we was at Stets. We looked on the guys: Errol Bass, Mitchell Francis, Winston Sinclair, got a guy from Terrence McRae. I did a lot of reading on all the guys that was doing ahead of me. I'm sure you compete with Dinsdale Morgan, who was ahead of me, who mentored me well before he left school. So we just want to say, so Errol Baz, what advice would you have to give to some of the youngsters right now that, they're in high school right now? They're thinking about, they don't know what to do. They don't know if they should stay and train at home. They should go to college. What advice would you give to, a youngster right now about how should they make, what direction, how should they make a decision in terms of the next step in the career after high school?
All right. Well, thanks again for having us. I appreciate it very much. And you mentioned some great names there in the past that I've competed against, which is very awesome. Dinsdale Morgan, Winston Sinclair. Winston Sinclair is actually here in Texas. His daughter swims. We stay in contact quite a bit. But in terms of your question, in terms of what direction to go, I always say you can't go wrong with education. You remove somewhat of the ceiling if you are able to get yourself or put yourself in a position to attend a college or university, whether it be a junior college and then transition to a 4-year college. Either one gives you a great opportunity to transition yourself. I think it depends on the individual overall in terms of their level of performance coming out of high school. Because if you have a high school kid coming out running low 20 points, 10.1 or so, quite honestly, I would say if there's an opportunity to go pro, absolutely do it. But don't neglect the educational side. If you're going to go pro, then plan on putting yourself through college, because you can pay for college while you're running or competing and still be successful at both. But if you're still running standard times, which colleges and university, you're not running pro level times, then be smart about it. Go to university, get your education, and then put yourself in a position to continue to develop and grow, and then compete on a professional level after college and stuff. So the main thing is really make sure that you're taking care of your academics. You're focusing on what it takes to get to a Division I university or Division II or Division III, as the case may be. You're looking at what the entry standards are, what are the SAT requirements, and you're putting yourself in position to take those so that at the end of running at your high school career, you can make a decision to go, I'm going to go to a university of my choice, or I'm going to go pro. So having options, multiple options, is what is going to make you successful at the end of the day. Don't restrict yourself to just one path or one way of thinking in terms of what you're going to do after high school. So explore all the options. Don't just put your eggs in one basket and says, I'm just going to go pro. Certainly position yourself with the academics so that you can go whichever way you choose.
All right, awesome, awesome, guys. So, yep, always assess your situation. I hear it over and over about, making the right decision that could determine, your career, in terms of if it's time to go pro or if it's time to go to college, or, if you're not sure about your option, but it's always good to have a mentor, to advise you. So, Michelle, final question for you. Just want to know, just tell us what you want for your sons. What definitely you really aspire for your boys, to be, as a mom.
For me, I just want to see them continue through with their education and, achieve their goals and their dreams. So both of them aspire to go to the Olympics. I definitely feel like they both have the talent and the skill set to do that. So I would love to be able to see them do that, and then also still building their professional portfolio in the process so that they're, able to be successful young men, as adults as well, because they both have the intelligence for it and the work ethic to actually make it happen.
All right, awesome, awesome. All right, Dominic, we're gonna wind down to you, just to give us any final thoughts about, just tell us about how do you prepare for your big race. What do you do like 24 hours before your race? Because we know that it's important about, the things that you do. We can't just get on a race day. So just tell us, what do you do? And then after that, I just want you to just say a little word of encouragement to any, teens that's watching the program right now. Any word of encouragement, because we believe that you are, on the right track. We believe that you are moving up the ranks, and we believe that you're going to continue to grow and get stronger. So just tell us a little bit about how do you prepare for a race, and then any final advice for any young listeners out there. How would you encourage them not, to choose good choice and make, good influence for others?
Well, the day before the race, it's not really nothing too special. I just try to get a lot of sleep. But the day of the race, I wake up and I make sure that I pray, and then I make sure I have everything in my bag, and I'm usually listening to music, and I listen to my favorite song. Everyone knows my favorite song. Everyone in the house knows, and it's "Touch the Sky" by Future. I listen to that on the drive when I'm warming up. I have a whole playlist too, but usually I like that song. I like to hear that song before the race, and I usually I try to relax, eat a good breakfast because I usually can't eat anything too close to the race because I get nervous. And then when I get like in the warm up area, heating area, and on the line, I usually try to stay relaxed, and I'll talk to some of the competitors if I know them. Like during summer track or school track, I'll still try. I might make a little bit of conversation gets to like bigger meets, higher stakes meets, they more focused and you're not really making too much conversation with other people. But I usually try and just stay relaxed because it makes you run better and kind of lighten.
Okay. Any final advice for any young viewers? If you was in the position, you're in the position. I'm giving you that now. That what would you tell some of the younger athletes that's coming up? That's trying to be like you right now.
I would tell them that more important than motivation is discipline because motivation is going to come and go. You're not going to feel motivated to work out some days, or you're not going to feel motivated to eat right or do the right thing. But you just have to have the discipline to go out there, put your best on the track, and work out more than meet, and have the discipline to eat what you're supposed to be eating and do what you're supposed to be doing. Because in the end, that's what's going to make you the best.
All right. So, Jordan, it's you now. We want to find out. I want to find out what's your favorite meal that you love to eat the night before your race, and what's the day of your race? How much do you eat? What do you consume? How do you think you do? Do you just eat wherever you have, or you have a routine of things that you eat? We know how important nutrition is. So I know that your parents, being with the background history, they must have tell you about give you some tips.
Yeah, usually the night before the race. Sometimes it's different stuff, but I like to eat like maybe ribs or pizza, and usually, usually the day of the race, I try to eat as much as I can, but I just feel so nervous that I can't eat. I just drink a lot of water, and usually after the race, when everything's calmed down, I can eat better.
Okay. All right, Jordan. Great answer. We just want to wish you all the best. We know that 2020 was cut short, and but we believe that you got many great years ahead. So just continue to work. What you could do on your while you're at home, and I'm sure you're gonna start school back if you're not already started soon. So we just want to wish you. I want to tell you that continue to train and work hard. Just continue to stick with it, because the opportunity is there, and you probably not sure or not realizing that opportunity, once you apply yourself, the door is just unbelievable. So I just want to encourage you, as a former Olympian. Don't talk much about my track experience, but just want to say that I admire what you guys are doing, and just continue to inspire, and continue to build a great legacy for yourself and your family. So with that said and done, guys, I was very happy again for the program. Any final words?
Ian, if I may add real quick, I'll let that one chime in on some of the second. I just want to say thank you again for allowing us to be here, and congratulations on all your accomplishments, and happy belated birthday to your wife. I think she celebrated a birthday this week, and
Yeah.
say happy birthday to Coach Mills. Also, he had a birthday this week, so
Yeah.
enough respect, enough love, and hey, thank you, man. Much love, much respect. Thank you again.
All right. So Dominic have something to say.
Well, I just really want to say thank you for, looking out for us and choosing us to come be on the show this week. It's an honor, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Dominic. As I said, we being a former athlete, as I said, I could tell you that I was so happy, because this is just the beginning of what's to come. It's so important to be able to able to talk in front of the camera, because being an athlete is also, you gotta able to market yourself, and to have a certain way of speaking, and you know, so people, when people get to know you, your value will double more than your you know, just your running. It's not about just running on the track. So I believe that you're on the right track. You know, you speak very well, speak very confident, and this is just, as I said, this is just the beginning of what to come. You're gonna be doing many interviews, and then, you know, you're gonna get some questions that you like and some not that you don't. So you gotta able to answer them respectfully in other ways. So I just thought that it was great. And you know, with Jordan, we believe that you're setting as a bigger brother. You know, your younger brother is watching you, so it's also important to pave the way for him. You know that you know, because I guarantee you that you guys gonna be at some point, you might be running together, because if you see the Lies brothers, they're, you know, they're only a couple of years apart. You know, but they're racing together right now. So it's just a matter of time. In 6 years, I mean, you know, both of you guys just, you know, could be running together, you know.
Senior at Lakeridge, Jordan will be a freshman. So very likely that, like you said, in 3 years' time, they'll be competing against each other. So
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah,
fun to watch. So
yeah. So that's all. That's always a blessing. So again, I want to say that you know, that you know, the Lord bless and keep your family together. You know, and just remember that you know, all things are possible through the Lord. And all right. So I'm going to play this video. It's a 2 minutes video that we're going to play to close the program out of them. Of the
Get out. Get up, Andy! Come off that curve, B. Let's go. Muscle. Hold them off. Come on, D! Let's go, D! Let's go, D! Yes!
Represent for everyone in Portland.
Final heat underway for the 200 meter. Allen is currently leading 100 meters remaining.
Catch him. Come on, Dominic.
Southwest Variant on the inside.
Come on, Dominic. Yes, Dominic. Come on, Dominic. Come on.
Last third.
Come on, Dominic.
All right, guys.